then later you can kind of connect them in various ways with tracks and so forth. You'd think I'd remember this because I edited the book and I read through it only about 3 or 4 times. But so here we've got the racetrack facility. Spirals play a prominent role in the Nautilus concept undersea base plans. The reason for the spiral design is this: tunnel boring machines cannot turn a sharp corner, so when they are used to excavate a complex, all turns must be curved. The radius of the turn determined by the tunnel boring machine's turning radius. The idea would be to bring a disassembled tunnel boring machine down, the central shaft shown, and then you assemble it. And then he shows Kirchner did the actual lock tube entrance to the deep shaft. Might have an outer lock and an inner lock. That might be something along these lines here. Okay. So, I mean, these are fairly detailed plans that were tasked more than 40 years ago by a Navy artist. Undersea oil rigs were also being planned. And here I'm just going to read directly out of Richard's book. Notice that in this case, the undersea base has an industrial function. It is an oil drilling operation completely contained within the seabed. The rubric implies that it would be powered by a geothermal source of energy. The oil wells are arrayed in an outlying tunnel, and the petroleum they would produce is pumped up a central shaft for delivery to a waiting oil tanker on the surface of the sea far above. He writes, "I am not aware of any such operational facilities today. However, I have run across conceptual plans for such undersea operations in the mining literature that I have consulted in recent years." So, I'm going to continue just along this passageway here. And yet another view of a possible spiral-type undersea base. You see that there are 2 vertical access shafts, one in the center and another on the left. So here and here. I believe that's right. Submarines are shown hovering around the entrance lock on the seafloor in the center, while at left another submarine departs an outlying entrance shaft. The relevant literature suggests that such a facility might contain 50 men to carry out research and active tunnel boring. And again, I'll keep emphasizing, it wouldn't look like this, obviously, because all you would see would be like this. You'd see the mountains under the sea. You wouldn't be able to know that there's anything at all underneath. How might it be inside there? Well, it might be nice. You might be able to play ping pong like these guys are here. I thought that was a great touch. I mean, really what he's saying is that you could have like a nice, kind of reasonably pleasant time of it under the sea floor. Under the sea floor. This is a depiction. I think this must be tunneling apparatus here, and just various different types of activities in an undersea installation. What would it be like? Well, it could be like living above the surface of the earth without the sunlight, but with good lighting, it might be pleasant that way as well. A few other things Kirchner developed for the Navy: a submarine tunnel idea through a mountain. Really, this doesn't seem all that outrageous, I think, to our sensibilities today. You cut right on through, and there you go. Another cross section of a sea mountain, so with a series of locks in place, where you might store a submarine, I suppose, in an underground, undersea mountain in this manner. The Moonless Mountains. One of the chapters of this book is way down beneath the Moonless Mountains. It just has a nice ring to it. But the Moonless Mountains are a place, and they are in the Pacific Ocean. The Moonless Mountains were one of the places that the Navy told Korshner to, keep in mind. This is where we're considering our plans to go there. It's in the central part of the Pacific Ocean. And what he did was to devise a family visiting undersea installation. And just a few more here. I'm almost done with the Korshner illustrations. A sonar installation. I did remember wanting to read the specific passageway for that. Was a manned in-bottom base secretly constructed under or near the Moonless Mountains, replete with submarine cables that connected to Hawaii or California, or perhaps to other undersea bases? If it ever was, it might well resemble what you see in this illustration here. Here you can see a depiction of a manned base burrowed deep down into the seabed, connected to an elaborate sonar monitoring system that is wired into a cable network running across the sea floor. Immediately, I just want to read this passage out of this book. The question arises, are there really installations like this deep beneath the Atlantic or the Pacific, or the Gulf of Mexico, or the Indian Ocean, or the North Sea, or the Mediterranean Sea? After slogging through many thousands of pages of pertinent documentation, I know that it is well within the state-of-the-art of modern deep-sea engineering to make facilities such as you see here in Walter Korshner's illustrations. The Americans can do it, the British, French, Germans, and Norwegians can do it. The Russians can do it, so can the Chinese and Japanese. And if I had to guess, writes Sauder, I would hazard to say that at least one of them, and maybe all of them, and maybe more, have done so. We don't know. The capability is there. The plans were there. One of the last illustrations that I have here, I think this is the last one that I've got for Korshner, and a shark hunt here, poor shark, and undersea domes. That's an undersea dome. I just think that's kind of beautiful. Again, we don't know. Were these developed? Were these built or not? We don't have confirmation. Just like in the UFO field, we don't have confirmation of certain things that we wish we would get. But that's life.
How far down are these supposed to be, Rich?
How far down would... Well,
the reason I asked
yeah.
is a lot of them have the glass domes. And I mean, you're going a mile or more down, it's pitch black. There's nothing to see, so why would they make glass domes for observation?
Well, you might have a glass dome if you're living inside it, or if you're within it. That would be the thing that came...
I'm sorry?
That is life. You can use a projector to look at it.
I mean, it might be useful also to vector in other vehicles that are coming in, just like a runway would be useful, or a lighthouse. I don't know all the reasons, but...
Or just because, as you were saying about the tensile strength of glass underwater, maybe it's just the best building.
Yeah, something that I learned in talking with Richard is that glass has very, very profound strength under the water in certain shapes. So, again, I don't, none of us knows if there's anything like this. Of course, if we've seen the movie The Abyss, it's not all that far off in some ways, what you get with James Cameron's depiction in that movie. So, and then the final chapter of this very excellent book, he titles The Alien Question. It's fair to ask because when you're talking about underground, undersea types of activity, there's certainly no shortage of claims, allegations that there are non-human beings operating below our feet, just as well as humans operating below our feet. So how does that all fit in? I can say, having spoken with Richard just for so many years, I have noticed that I think he's evolved a little bit in his attitude about this matter. If you read his first book from the mid-1990s, he would have almost nothing to say about the ET issue in general. But when you deal with the type of topic that he's dealt with, it's inevitable that it comes up.